everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you the BookTube Real Talk tag. The BookTube Real Talk tag was created by Books with Alyssa J, and I was actually tagged by the wonderful Lindsay over at Wandering Reader, so I will leave a link to both of their videos down below for you guys to check out, which you should. Now, I've kind of seen this tag going around, and I've obviously watched at least Lindsay's video, but I'm sure I've seen other people do it, but I don't really remember the questions. And unlike typical tags that I film, I haven't planned out my answers because this is just more around your thoughts around BookTube and your channel and stuff like that, and not about books fitting any prompts or anything like that. So I haven't planned out my answers, so we're winging it is basically what I'm telling you. So please bear with me. So question number one is just, what's something no one told you about BookTube before you started? I guess one of the main things I didn't really realize about BookTube before I started is that how much time it takes, that it really is a time commitment. I know people talk about it in terms of not even just the content and the making and editing and all of that, but even just the reading. For me, that's not so much of an issue because I've always read this much. My reading has maybe increased a little bit since I've been on BookTube, but for the most part, I've always been a hugely avid reader. Like I've read 100+ books for as long as I can remember, like in a year. So it's not so much about me finding time to read, although that can be more difficult now that I'm trying to create content as well. But just even the time that goes into planning videos, filming videos, editing videos, and like getting them up, as well as not even to take into account like responding to comments and all of that type of thing. And I have a very small channel. So the time that it must take, including the engagement factor for people who have a much larger engagement, like I can't even really fathom. I spend a good chunk of my weekend, normally on a Saturday, planning videos and then filming them, and then I try to edit, but I don't always get to the editing as swiftly as I would like. Yeah, it really is a time commitment. You have to be, I don't want to say dedicated, because it's a hobby and I enjoy it and I do it because it's something that I enjoy, but it is a time commitment. And I guess I just didn't really realize before I started how much of a time commitment, which is why in the first year or 2 years or however long of my channel, there were times where I kind of disappeared for a little bit. I'm much more regular now than I used to be, but because the time commitment that it would take could get pretty overwhelming, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So the next question is, what is your opinion on typical BookTube videos, wrap-ups, TBRs, hauls, etc.? I'm sure you can tell if you watch my channel that I ain't got no problem with typical BookTube videos. I film them all. I enjoy watching all of the typical BookTube content, and I enjoy making all of the typical BookTube content. Wrap-ups are probably some of my favorites to film. I think the only videos maybe that I enjoy filming as much as my wrap-ups is my marked as to read videos. I really do enjoy filming those because I'm so excited about all of the new books that I've heard about. So that video is always fun to film. But my wrap-ups, I enjoy talking. That's the whole reason I'm here, is to talk about the books that I've read and my thoughts on them. And wrap-ups are definitely my favorite videos to watch from other people. It's the main thing if I'm checking out a new person's channel, like a new channel that I haven't watched previously. Wrap-ups is generally the first videos that I will look for on their channel to watch. Not because I'm like, I watch people with such a wide variety of books. I don't need them to read the same books as me or have even the same opinions as me. It's just that the way they talk about books in wrap-ups is going to be a big factor as to whether they're going to have content that I will enjoy. Because I just love wrap-ups. Hearing people talk about books and their thoughts on books it's the crux of why we're on BookTube, right? Why we watch, why we create. So I've got no problem with wrap-ups. I personally enjoy TBRs. I like making my TBRs. I'm a very structured reader, so I've got no problem with sticking to TBRs. I know some people don't enjoy making TBRs because they can't stick to them. I don't even care. I like watching TBRs. If the person doesn't end up reading those books, I'm not fussed. I'm still happy to hear what they were trying to read. I just enjoy all of it. I know hauls get a lot of views. People love them. I know they can be seen to be a bit braggy, I guess. Maybe more from the bigger booktubers who are receiving a lot of books from publishers. But I don't really have a problem with that at all. So I enjoy all. I guess what I'm saying is long-winded, but I don't have a problem with typical content. I like watching it. I like making it. Next is, what is an assumption you had about BookTube before you joined? Was it proven to be correct or not? I don't know that I had any assumptions about, I didn't communicate with any other creators before I started my channel. I'd been watching BookTube for like maybe 5 or 6 months, something like that, before I started my own channel. So I dived in pretty quickly because as soon as I started watching BookTube, I knew it was something that I wanted to do, because I couldn't believe that I'd found this corner of the internet that was so dedicated to something that I have been in love with my whole life, and have not always had people that I could talk about books and reading with. So for me, you know, I dived in pretty quickly. So I don't really know if I had any assumptions. I didn't assume that my channel was going to take off or anything like that, and it didn't. But I didn't assume that was going to happen. So again, I didn't expect it to be as much of a time commitment as what it is, but it's not because I thought it was going to be really quick and easy. I just didn't really think about it, which is probably not a good thing, but I don't know. I can't think of any assumptions that I had before I started. So yeah, I don't really know how to answer that question. What is something you've done that has actually helped you grow your audience? Again, I'm probably not the right person to answer this question. I have been on BookTube for over 4.5 years now, or about 4.5 years, and my channel is still very small. I don't have a problem with that. I've always said that if I was here for the numbers, I wouldn't still be here. It's just a fact. Sure, I would like for my channel to be bigger and to keep growing, but it's not the be all and end all for me. So I've never really had, my channel's always been very, very, very slow growing. So there's nothing that I can really pinpoint as something that I have done that's helped my channel grow, or even anything. I don't know what it comes down to. I can't tell you what helps a channel take off and what stops another channel from taking off. And because the things that I think do matter, I don't think are things that you should tailor your channel to, because things that I think matter a lot is reading new release popular books, and I think if you're reading very newish release YA, contemporary and fantasy, that is very popular on BookTube, and I think if you're talking about a lot of that, then your channel is going to tend to grow quicker. I don't read that, and that is, I think, one of the factors as to why my channel is smaller, is because I read such a wide variety of genres, and I'm reading a lot of backlist books. Like, I'm rarely reading new releases except for books that I have got from NetGalley, and even then I'm typically reading those months after they've been released because I'm a terrible human. But I don't think that anyone should go into BookTube and then make themselves read only the popular new release books just so that they can have a channel. I think you should read what you're interested in and what you want to read. So I don't know. I mean, all of the things, the typical things that people talk about, I agree with. I think you should try to have decent lighting. One of the things that turns me off a little bit in videos is really poorly lit videos. And like, you don't have to have, like, I have always just used natural light. I can't afford to pay for amazing lighting or anything like that. It's, you know, with such a small channel, it's not money that I'm willing to spend. You know, you don't have to have a crazy good camera. I did have a camera when I first started, not a very great one, and now I just film on my phone. I did pay for editing software, but like just a really cheap, easy once-off payment type of editing software. But you can find lots of free editing software out there. I do think that looking at the camera and at the people is really important, and not looking at yourself, which I know is tough. I have struggled with it, particularly when I'm doing a video. I just happen to have this book in front of me, but like where I'm doing a video where I'm talking about a book, because I will tend to look at the book. It's not even myself I'm looking at the book on the camera or the phone, the viewfinder. When I'm talking about it, I will just tend to look at the book, which means I'm not looking at you guys. And that can be very off-putting, but unless someone's doing it all of the time, like constantly just looking at themselves, then I can like even get over that, and I can get over poor lighting. Like, if I really enjoy the person, I will get over all of those things. So again, I don't really have an answer. I'm not the person to talk to about how to grow your channel, because clearly my channel is very small. Oh no, my laptop just died. No, here we go. What is a common mistake you see new booktubers making or that you made? I guess one that I see a lot of people making is feeling like you've got to buy all of these books. I did it a little bit, but not really. I've always been a big buyer of books. I put myself on a really big book buying ban at once, like pre-BookTube, because I had an entire bookshelf of books that I hadn't read. So even before BookTube, that was always a problem for me. And so it's not, like, that's nothing new for me, but that I know that is a trap that a lot of booktubers fall into. And I guess just, and it's not, none of these are really issues that I've had, but I guess problems that people have is not being true to themselves, on like feeling like you've got to put on a persona, or, you know, just those types of things. I don't really know. There's not really anything that I can think of that I fell into. I've always tried to be very myself on camera. I'm not putting on this big, bouncy, crazy personality, because that's not who I am. Like, that's not who I am. So, I don't know. I can't really think of any, besides the things that I've already mentioned, like not looking at the camera when you're talking to people and things like that. I do think that all of that comes with, you learn kind of as you go, and even watching BookTube and realizing what you like to watch and what you enjoy in videos helps you know what to do. So I guess something that I do have something that I think is a mistake that a lot of people make, is trying to reach out and be friends with all of the popular booktubers, and like being one of those people who comments on people's videos and says, and I, like, to some extent it's okay, but being like, hi, check out my wrap-up video, and then that's it. Like, you need to be engaging with that person and that person's videos before you make any attempt for them to check out your channel. Generally, just by commenting, they will realize that you have a channel, and you can do it in a more organic way where you can talk about a book. If they're talking about a particular book, you could say something like, I recently hauled that book on my channel, I can't wait to read it, or I recently talked about that book in my wrap-up, I had similar thoughts or really different thoughts or whatever. And through you mentioning that you have a channel, people will gravitate towards checking out your content, and then if they like you, they'll subscribe. I do think watching other booktubers and commenting on all of that is important. I think that's an important thing to form a community, but I think that a lot of booktubers fall into a trap of posting kind of annoying comments on people's videos, just like asking for people to check them out and not even trying to engage with their content, which I think is a mistake. But it's not one that I made. I've never been like that, but it is one, I guess, that people make. Question number 6 is, what are your thoughts on working with publishers and sponsorships? I don't have a problem with it. This is, I guess, a touchy subject. I just don't really have a problem with it. Sponsored videos, I definitely don't have a problem with people working with publishers. If you can get into like, it's the dream, right? If I was contacted by publishers and they wanted to send me free books for me to review, I would be all over that shit. I would 100% accept that. Like, there is no, like, that's the dream. So I don't have any problem with people with that. Sponsored videos, I'm sorry that the lighting's getting a bit strange. I'll try to fix it in a minute. I can see that sponsored videos can be a bit more of an issue, because I know sometimes if someone is sponsored to talk about a book that they haven't even read yet, or if they have read it, it can be hard to ascertain whether their opinions on that book are genuine sometimes. But I think that just comes down to the individual viewer and them having to form their own opinion of whether they think that that person is being genuine. And I think if you've been watching someone for a long time, I think you can tell whether someone's being genuine in their opinions of a book. So for the most part, I don't have a problem with it. The only time I've ever really been a bit like about sponsored content is when the sponsored content doesn't have anything to do with the channel. That I get a bit more like, again, I respect the hustle and like trying to, you know, make $1. Like, I'm totally respectful of that, but I don't know. It becomes a bit more of a, really, when it doesn't relate to the channel and you're kind of forcing this stuff on your viewers for you to make money, when it's not stuff that you're already putting, not content that you would already be talking about. Like, you wouldn't naturally talk about it on your channel. That gets a bit more, I'm not sure about that, but again, I don't overly have a problem with it, if I'm being honest. I just pulled the curtain across to fix the lighting and trapped Winnie behind the curtain, but I'm sure she's fine. So, and we're almost done anyway. So the last question is, do you think BookTube is dying? No. I don't really know where this question, and I've heard a lot of people, this is the main question that I hear people going, what? And I agree, like, what? No, I don't know why people would assume that BookTube is dying. If you want to find new content creators, they're out there. There are people joining the community at like such a ridiculous rate, like that there's always going to be BookTube content for people to watch. The community has just grown and grown and grown, even since I've been here, let alone since like the big, you know, OG booktubers. It's just grown and grown and grown, and I can only see it continuing to grow and grow and grow and getting even bigger as time goes on. I can't see that BookTube would ever die. And then the last question actually is to tag your friends. I'm going to tag actually Kath from Strange the Reader. I'd be interested to hear her thoughts on some of these questions. I don't know how informative or helpful this video was to you guys because I feel like I didn't really have answers for some of these questions because my channel is really small, but I enjoyed just having a chat with you guys. So I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've got any thoughts on any of the things that I discussed in this video, because I love chatting down in the comments. It's what I'm here on BookTube for, is to chat with other bookish minded people. So yeah, I would love to chat down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel, and make sure to check out Lindsay and Alyssa, Books with Alyssa J's videos, which are linked in the description box. That is all I have for this video today. Bye guys.